Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Crusader Cody, and we're keeping it geekly with our returning guest, Christopher Curtis. We're here to break down Jazz Chapter 1 and, a little bit of 0 as well, and everything in between. Chris, welcome back to the show. How have you been, man?
I've been cold. I've been frosty, but other than that, I've been fine, man. I've found a couple formulas out here, and I'm making it do what it do.
Yeah, it's definitely over here in Ohio, chilly. We get that lake effect from Lake Erie, and just gets nice, cold, and miserable. I think at some point you kind of just like get used to it. My job, of course, is slinging pizza, so I'm out here, whenever I don't have my kids or, it's time to work, out there just chilling in the cold all day long. And I don't know, man, you kind of just like autopilot through it at some point.
Wait, Ohio? So you're right next to me.
Oh, really? Where are you from?
Indiana.
No shit. Okay. See, I love this. Like, we've known each other for how long? It's like, oh crap, we're actually just like a stone throws away.
Right.
So for anyone who's watching for the first time who might not really be, familiar with you or your work, can you give us a little bit of a rundown of who you are and a little bit about Jazz?
All right. So my name is Chris, and recently, as of last year, I joined Comic Studios as a manga / comic book writer for the team. I also have a small upper leadership role as far as like delegating all of our mission statements and whatnot. But before that, I was just a humble manga writer. I wrote Jazz. I wrote a couple other stories that are actually self-published on various websites, including my own. But Jazz is my big baby, it's in a sense. So what Jazz is in a sense is first of all, it's an anagram for Juggernauts Against Zealous Zealots, which will be explained more so in the story as it goes on. But in Jazz, there are portals that appear over the city of Neo Haven, and they spew violent, like grotesque-ish monsters from like other dimensions, and nobody has an idea as to why it's happening over this city. But the Neo Haven government has instituted almost like a martial law, and they have set up these shields that will go over the city to protect them on every single portal excursion. And with doing that, it blocks every civilian from being in danger, but it keeps them from seeing what's going on. And they're taking the monsters, and they're doing some type of behind the scenes work with them. So it's almost like a hide and capture. And there are 5 individuals who are trying to solve the mystery of the portals and what the Neo Haven government knows about it. So it's kind of like a punkish story of us versus the higher powers that be. These five individuals all have some sort of augment that they took from the monsters themselves. That part I really wish I could tell why, but that where was I at? Yeah, so they all have powers, like one of them has a power of like sound manipulation. The other one has a power of like necromancy, and it's basically taking the abilities from the monsters to combat the government. And it's just kind of a back and forth right now going on in chapter 0 through chapter 1. But as the chapters go on, the back and forth is going to come to much more than just skirmishes. It'll be a bigger thing going on.
Real quick, we have Mr. X over on YouTube dropping in to say howdy. Thank you for stopping in, and thank you for that subscription as well. Everyone who's watching, if you subscribe, we are building a huge ass Gundam kit. I love building Gundams. I have probably about 13 kits I've built just over different like subscription goals. So help make that happen just by hitting that subscription link. That call to action, I almost had that smooth. That was just right off the top. So, Chris, I mean, what are some of the influences that you maybe draw from, or anything that maybe kind of served as like a drawing board for you when creating these characters?
I am in love with the 2000s era. So anything from '99 to 2007 is where most of my media that I played with the most of was at. So when it comes to jazz, I borrowed a lot from older anime and the older anime storytellings. Like I really love Fooly Cooly because it gave you 6 episodes and it just gave you straight vibe, straight attitude, and it was like a complete narrative from start to finish. And I love every single episode that ever came out. And I also love like Cowboy Bebop. So I tried to borrow from what I knew as a kid. And then I also had just gotten into like Bungo Stray Dogs, My Hero Academia, and Undead Unluck, and Fire Force. And so so that's like the newer stuff. So I'm trying to bridge between those two and the take from all the parts that I really like. So you're gonna see a lot of the action looks like something that will come out of like Fire Force. A lot of the storytelling is definitely something that comes out of Fooly Cooly in the way that it thrusts you into the middle of it. You don't really get the origin, and you don't really get well you do get the ending, but you don't get the origin. And then of course there's a lot of those like fan servicey moments, because we used to be a society of people that really like fan service, and if it was in the show or in the manga, if you didn't like it, you would just kind of like flush over it. But we don't anymore. But I'm kind of bringing back that old almost Dragon Ball levels of fan service that we kind of like walked away from.
Okay, and then we have Mr. X saying, excuse me, BMD Nerd. Sorry about that confusion. Is issue 0 necessary to read? Welcome to the stream, by the way.
Okay, so yes and no. I've had people pick up chapter 1 or planning to, because they understand that you can start the narrative right from 1. It's important if you want to get a scope of what's going on in Neo Haven and with the characters, because in chapter 0 you get jumped right into the narrative, so to speak. But chapter 1 going forward is just going to re-invite you back into that like beginner narrative over time. So it's either you either read chapter 0 and then get hit with it all at once, or you read from chapters 1 going forward and you get it in small pieces. Chapter 0 is more like a one shot at this point. I realized that last year, actually like around this time last year, I realized that if I ever do chapter 1, which I plan to do, chapter 0 should just be like its own thing, and then going forward, it'll be like the actual start. But definitely chapter 0 is readable, but you don't really need it.
Okay. I thought it served as like a really good introduction to the characters as well. Yeah,
but like when we finished chapter 1 and then we started on 2, I realized that I was writing 1 and then going forward as if 0 was like supplementary, but it wasn't necessary.
Okay.
So it's like, because like people are so angsty about numbers, and they're always like, where's number 1? Where's number 1? And so I kind of was like, well, let me not try to force 0. Let me just kind of put 1 as the like really good starting point. So you basically get like 2 starting points, so to speak, because the conflict doesn't get pushed forward until after 1. So once you read 0, you go right to 1. The conflict is still getting like brought in, just like hey, if you miss 0, at least you get an idea of what's up.
No, for sure. And we'll be checking out the Kickstarter here shortly. And I think there's preview pages for chapter 0 and 1 on there, correct?
Yeah.
So we'll be checking those out a little bit larger format than what's on the slideshow currently. So, I mean, man, like we were talking backstage, I've kind of been like off Twitter. I've been, hidden, and then I saw the geek signal. I had to come out of caves and do my damn thing. But shit's been hitting the fans, it looks like, with the creation of chapter 1. I mean, what's been going on with that? Like, people trying to call you out for creating this.
It's literally almost anybody who makes indie manga. So over the past half of last year, I jumped to TikTok and I found a really cool, like a really good formula to for like outreach. So I have about 950 people following me on there in a very short time frame, and it's a lot of people who really either like enjoy reading manga or they enjoy jazz or they just like enjoy me or whatever. But with finding people who enjoy you, you will find people who don't enjoy what you do, no matter what it is, and you and me both know about that. So a lot of us have been fighting this this invisible war from people who have zero like intelligence about anything. We've been called culture vultures. We've been called cultural appropriators. I just got told like this past couple days I was trying to be Japanese, which is the funniest thing because I don't want to be Japanese. But yeah, it's people who don't understand the like grand scope of manga and the fact that manga itself is just a interpretation of the word comic in Japan.
Yeah.
But as far as the art style has been adapted from other countries over the past 30, 40 years. Hell, like the matter of fact, the very first American manga was Astro Boy in the 80s. We actually got our own version of it. And it was done here. I forgot which guy did it, but I mean, it's always been a thing. So it's just people who are not really like really intelligent to it, and they just feel like they have to protect the integrity of a thing that they probably don't even like indulge in anyway.
And it just seems like sometimes drama is created just for the sake of drama with no sole purpose other than just to ruin people's days.
Yeah. No, that's well, people don't really know how to engage people without forcing themselves into their lives, and sometimes they don't want to spend time to learn somebody. They just want to get to the goal of now I'm on your radar. Like this makes me feel good.
Yeah, and one thing that does make me feel good is the action in this series. I think the fighting sequences, everything, from that to the character designs themselves are just absolutely gorgeous. Who's all involved in the making of Jazz?
So this is going to be a weird cast list. So when we did Chapter 0, I was working with an artist named Goldberg Villanueva. He is an artist from the Philippines, and we knocked out Chapter 0 pretty fast, pretty efficiently. Couple bumps here and there, but we got it done, and the reception was great. It was awesome. And then over the summer of last year, when right in the middle of us making Chapter 1, Ash Kohari, who is known for making her own manga, which is 9mm Girls, alongside her wife, who makes Freaky Half. They're both on Global Comics. She's a really good friend of mine, and she basically told me that she was leaving her studio and she wanted to do Jazz. And I told her like, hey, that's awesome. I'm working with with my mans right now. Maybe I'll try to maybe we'll talk about it after Chapter 1's done. And so she goes, okay, it's cool, it's gravy. And then she kind of sends me practice page, like preview pages of Jazz, where she's like, well, here's how it would look like, once we get down to it. And right then and there, I was like, you know what? Let me go talk to my man real quick because I'm gonna need this.
Yeah,
so,
let me take that back. Let's.
So I went back to my guy and was like, you know what? I think she gets the whole scope of it, and I think she understands a lot of what I'm trying to do, and she has great communication that I need that I wasn't getting with him. So, but I did not leave him. I did not leave him stranded. I paid off the rest of the contract that I had with him, or not the contract, but what I agreed to pay him for Chapter 1. So I halted all the work and still paid him. It was like, let's just go ahead and part ways on this. If you want, we can come back later on something, or yada yada. And he was cool with it, and I was like, well, here's your cut, and then I'm out. So Chapter 0 is done by him. Chapter 1 is done by Ash.
Sounds like you took care of him. So I mean, that's the most important part in that, right? Is he was taken care of. He's happy on his end of things, and I mean, ultimately, he got paid for a chunk of work that he didn't have to do, right? So
right.
Real quick, we have Mr. X. Japan and America have given each other things artistically all the time. Trigger made PSGWG over being inspired by Powerpuff Girls, for example. I love Powerpuff Girls. I've been with my kids. We've been like, anytime they want to watch TV, it's always like they have to watch something like Fairly Odd Parents or something like that, like all the old school cartoons from like back in the day. And I remember we were on a big Powerpuff Girl kick, and like, just like, did you ever hear about how they wanted to say what is it? Professor X is like Jamurai Jack. Why did I think Zach? But the correlation, I guess there's even like parts of the city like you could see in that Samurai Jack, like at some point.
Well, because they were both made by Janetti, I forgot his last name. But yeah, no, there's a correlation on their design. He could be a like descendant of Jack for all we know. Like Janetti could just like tweet right now and just say it, and we all be like, yeah, we know.
That'd be so crazy. That'd be so mind blowing. So let's go ahead. I think would be a perfect opportunity to blow some minds and head over to the Kickstarter and see what all the hype is about. See, I've been off my game for so long that man, them transitions, I still got it. I feel good.
Oh, you're still on your game.
I still have to adjust the display capture though. Hold on 1 second. Man, it feels good to be behind the mic though. I forgot like how long it's been. I think it's been pretty much a month or two since I've even done an interview. Here we go. We are perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this link in chat, guys. If you are watching, be sure to check this out with us. If you're able to back, we would love to see that. But sharing this wherever you can, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you can. Word of mouth is 100% free. It's the easiest way to support. You might not be interested in buying, chapter 1, chapter 0, but you might have a friend who would love to. So word of mouth always helps the cause. And we are looking at Jazz Juggernauts against Zealots, chapter 0 and 1. Some rest and relaxations, just what the members of Jazz need, or is it what they think, at $2,433 of a $1,250 goal, 70 backers, and 22 days left to go. Congratulations, you funded this like, what, the first like hour or so?
It was like the first 5 hours.
5 hours, and I remember you. I mean, with chapter 0, like you went to war with that Kickstarter. Like you had to run that, and then rise up from the ashes and run it again. And this time you like funded so fast. How did it feel to kind of have that difference, with your, with chapter 1 compared to chapter 0?
I was ecstatic with the fact that all of my bigger tiers got like picked up in the first 2 hours, because I was like, holy shit. So like 3 people saw this. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna need that. So and I only know like one of them. So no, it's been really good. I feel like as I go forward, I'm gonna get better at communicating and even like marketing and like advertising this. I do know that the last Kickstarter, I was pushing it to the general like the general audiences, but on this Kickstarter, I was pushing it towards people that back manga, and I was going to where readers are like potentially at. So that also played a big role into it. So it's all about just learning. Oh, and there's the graphic right there that I was talking about.
And I think what you said right there is key. Marketing to the proper demographic. It can be scary to break away from just like the general everyone, because you want to try to reel in as many fishes as possible, but like it really feels like narrowing that net and where you're throwing it like just has such a big difference.
Yeah.
And I also see you guys are going to fully color this at a stretch goal of 4,000. That would be that'd be awesome to see this in color.
Now she's actually kind of already started some of it, and I was like, wait just a second. Let's not get too far. I don't want you to do a bunch of work and then
she's smart. She learned from the first time. She's like, if I just keep sending in these practice pages,
that'll do it. And so this goal right here is actually from her. I'm not even really involved in it.
That's cool.
She just was like, hey, let me do something. I said, all right, here, take it.
So at 150 backers, a live stream of drawing jazz on the Discord server. So let's check out some of these previews. We've had these on image slideshow a little bit before, but I'm loving these. These are these like little space shuttles, little space pods right here.
So those are the drones that are watching them. It's transmitting all the footage to a data center that they're actually trying to get into. So them on the beach, it looks like they're just kind of like, enjoying the day. They're actually distracting. It's a big distraction, and this is almost like 2000s era slapstick, so to speak, because it's like, hey, I know who's watching us, so all they gotta do is just look a certain way, go to go in public, and their eyes will be on us. They won't be on the actual event going on behind them.
And we also have some nudity. Is this the first time Jazz has had nudity, or because I can't remember if it was in chapter 0 or not?
No. So Jazz was originally was always gonna have it. But when I made chapter 0, I made it for a specific audience. So I was gonna do the nudity later, actually like further later. But when the audience that I was making jazz for fell through, I just was like, okay, well, let me not try to pan it no more. Let me go do what I want to do, because the crowd of people that I was trying to sell this to doesn't like nudity, doesn't like language, doesn't like it was so many things that I was like working really hard to make it for, and I just gave up. So it was supposed to have already been a thing established, and I wanted to still do it. It's like how I said earlier, Dragon Ball has nudity in it, but it's not known for it, but it's at least there. It's like
DBZ used to be raw with some of those, like with what Master Roshi, like. I said that right? It's been so long since I said he like we're talking like the old school like Dragon Ball, even like he is such a pervert. I feel like you could get canceled almost if you're wearing any of his merchandise.
well, and that's who I was going for when I did the rewrite early last year, because I realized people kind of forgot about all the humor about the old Goku and Bulma. He was there was a lot of stuff with the hell. There was a moment where Krillin had Bulma put her top down so that she could make Roshi do a nosebleed, so that they could make the invisible fighter visible during the tournament. It was shit like that, and I was like, I missed that. Like I need that to come back.
And we were like kids back then. We're like, yeah.
Well. It was censored on TV, but if you had the manga, it wasn't. And that's when I was like, we need to come back to this form immediately.
And I'm loving the layout of these pages too. The paneling, the chibis in the speech bubble, so you know who exactly is talking. Like overall, this is awesome.
Ash is. I'm super happy that she was able to come through for this, because originally we were always joking about her doing jazz, but she was too busy. I had my other artists, and we were kind of like wrong place, wrong time. And then it just kind of all of a sudden was like, bam, I'm here.
Is this a meme reference right here? Do you know the way?
Yes, and I'm pretty sure 20% of the people that have paid for this or have read this know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yep, you definitely. It seems like you're able to kind of swing more for the fences this time around with this chapter.
Oh yeah, no, this. I almost said that this was my favorite chapter, but then I just wrote chapter 3 a month ago, and that's gonna be the one.
Okay. All right, so let's check out some of these rewards. Some gorgeous covers right there. Do you have images for the rewards, or is everything on the side?
everything is. Oh, that's all. Yeah, it's either there or on the side.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and scroll down. You can get a PDF of chapter 1 digitally, $6, so 20 plus pages, awesome pricing. You can get the deluxe digital for 10, so 20 plus pages. So what's that extra content going to include?
So you get all of the variant covers that are on this campaign digital. So you get the front and back cover. So and the front and back cover, I'll actually have it formatted so you can actually use it like a wallpaper. If need be. But so you get all the covers, and then just like the last campaign, there will be a podcast episode that I will include. The last one was me, and it was me trying to like explain the new art detail going forward and everything. This one's going to be me and Ash, and we're going to do a little bit of not a secret, but like a exclusive expose into like what we're doing with Jazz. If Cody, you haven't been on Twitter in forever, but I've been kind of like dropping hints that this year we're working on just more than like just Jazz. I have another artist who's doing another story for me that's in the same universe as Jazz, but it's a whole different hero, and that one's going to be amazing. And then me and Ash just kind of like decided to do a webcomic that's also in the same universe as Jazz. So we're going to kind of like drop that on the podcast and tell more about it. But it's going to be a pretty big one.
Please tell me, like, one's named like Blues, the other one's like like rock and roll. I don't know. Like
what the? Oh, no.
Hey, so, I might be onto something though.
No, well, you might be. I had to like explain the name a while back, and I'll make this one even shorter. Is that Jazz in this sense just means, being rambunctious, making noise, like how Jazz usually was presented in that type of climate, but the anagram was made by Hex, and Hex is like your like eccentric character who's just trying to make whoever mad up top as possible. And it's supposed to be like a punk story, so to speak. So it's like it's the cyberpunk, but like more of the punk part than a cyber part. But no, I don't have any blues. I don't have any. What's the name of this one? Oh, it's just rap. I don't know.
So we have Dr. Hino 419 saying we're back. Welcome to the stream. Yes, it feels good to finally be behind the mic, and let's dive back into these rewards. We have the physical copy of Jazz Chapter 1 at 15. Awesome pricing there as well. The origin set, so you can get the one-shot chapter in Chapter 1. So you're gonna all officially consider Chapter 0 kind of just like the one-shot?
Yeah. So I've been pushing that for a while, and people haven't really been getting it, but I have it everywhere I put it, where it's like, hey, if you read this and you don't read Jazz like after that, it does end. Like it's one of those stories where it does end, or well, it can end if you let it end. But if you want to go forward, then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever.
I gotcha. So we got that at $20. 2 books. Awesome pricing on that. The Chapter 0 is about 20 pages as well, right?
Chapter 0 is 50.
So yeah, double. So I mean, that's a pretty big bang for $20 right there physically. You can get the Jazz 1 Infiltration team cover at $25. So this wraparound right here. Love the coloring in this and like the graffiti on the wall. That's very awesome. Then we have the drone beach footage. So coming in at 30. You can get the naughty version at 40. And then the virgin naughty version at 45. So awesome covers there. Who's the cover artist for this?
My man Joe the Cup came through on that one. When I was planning this one out, I was like, I need to find a way to do one of those, as they call, cheesecake covers. But I didn't want to just do it where it was like, hey, I have on a 2-piece and now I don't. So when I was planning it, I was like, well, wait a minute, it's some drones watching them, right? And this scene does happen in the book. So I was like, wait a minute, so why don't I do it where like the HUD covers her? And then like that whole light bulb just sparked. So I went to Joe and was like, what do you think? And he went nuts. And I was like, yes. Like this is exactly how I needed it, man. Like this is a really good cover.
And I love, like, you know, the UI of the drones, like perfect for like covering it too. So very awesome approach on that. We have Jazz Chapter 1 Collector's Bundle at $50. So what's this bundle going to include?
It's going to include 2 books. You get the main book, and then you get a choice of a variant cover. You also get a Kill Switch sticker done by Vice, who is Ash's wife, of SK6 and the Artist of Jazz. And then you get the Mute keychain, which is from Ash. And then my man Pinky came through and did the artwork, which I have borrowed from a earlier Kickstarter, because I was like, I cannot let it die. So I took the artwork and I like repurposed it on this card. So now you have a Jazz card, which I'll try to bring back every campaign, because initially you want to get all of them, but that's kind of what you get. And then you also get like chapter 1 digital, chapter however. So $50 gets you all that, and it's limited quantity.
And then we have Chapter 1 all cover bundle at $100. You can get the and that's it. So awesome tiers on there. I love how everything is structured. This keychain is super adorable with Mute holding the kitty as well. And then do you still have
ones? No. If you scroll down on the other list, on the right list, it's all gone.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, congratulations though. That means you had 3 people fill in the spots for that. That's awesome.
Well, 4 people, because I ran the art contest, and one of the rewards is to do that.
And we have add-ons right here and some preview pages from Chapter 0. Yeah, you know, it's wild to kind of see, because when I initially seen the preview pages, I was like, this feels like it's pretty similar to Chapter 0, but actually seeing it in comparison to Chapter 0, you see how much of a difference there is, and it feels like your vision is a lot more captured, you know, with Ash than it was with the previous artist. Right,
but like he still, you know, did his thing, and it's still a great starter, so to speak. I've had people read it, and of course they all tell me that you should go to anime, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I could just turn around and here you go, Netflix, like, you know, like that'll do it.
Give me the $1 million to get it started, and we'll get talking about it. You know, fund it for me. So
I'll definitely do that, no problem.
So after going through that Kickstarter and checking out all the rewards and everything in between, what would you like to say to anyone who might be kind of hesitant about backing, you know, if they're kind of on the fence?
A lot of people have this notion about manga, especially if they haven't read it before. A lot of it is valid, and then some of it's like really invalid, so to speak. But if you just ignore the part that it's in a manga art style, it is relatively still a enjoyable book. If you like the old 2000s era of media, whether it be video games, music, movies, comic books, that's where I'm at. You know, that's my wheelhouse of design, is in that era. So it's gradually, you know, enjoyable. If you don't like all the naughty bits, so to speak, it's not something that I do a lot. I do it every so often, so to speak, with like certain characters, but there is a comedy element to it. It's not just done just to do it. It's like, it's just one of those, like, you know, it's like, it's a part of a bit. I just can't show you the bit because I want you to get the book first. No, you know what?
If you want to see the bits, get the book.
Basically, no. So I'll tell you why that part is happening in the book. So, if you haven't figured it out, two characters are not on the beach. They're actually in the data center. They are trying to hack the data center to get all the information that they have on the portals, because that's kind of, you know, the people that have them. And so while they're doing it, there is a computer security room that has like 3 personnel inside of it that are watching the portals, and they're doing like commentary about, like, you know, what they're looking at and why can't we go and get the characters, get them now while they're here, yada yada. So they realized like, hey, so we need more, diversion. And they're like, we're already diversion. Like, how much diversion can we be? And it's like, well, we need to get in this other room over here. And they're kind of watching both of the cameras. What can y'all do? And one of the characters has an idea. And it's like, hey, quick question. Who's in that room? And, it's actually one of the returning characters from Chapter 0 is in there. And so they decide to go up behind one of the characters and yank her top off and run off so that she's chasing after them. Then another character is like, yo, why are you and then they realize, oh, wait a minute, this is all part of a plan. I'm gonna do it too. So it's just like really cool, like slapstick part that I just really like. And it works out. So no, definitely get on Jazz, man.
Jazz gone wild, taking me back to the early 2000s in another way.
Oh, I never thought about that. Damn it.
We have Dr. Hino 419, Love 2000 Entertainment, absolutely and for sure. So we are hitting that mark where we got to start wrapping things up. Chris, you've been on the show before. You know the drill. So for anyone who might be facing, I guess, criticism in their work, or people telling them that they shouldn't be doing that, or they can't be doing this, like, what would be your biggest piece of advice for working through that?
Start asking people where they found the audacity to tell you what you can do. And usually the answer that they give you is never enough for you. So just definitely just tell people to just go, fuck themselves and just keep doing, just keep making, and at a good chance you might even inspire more people to do what you do, because we definitely need more people like us out here. It's wild. But no, just make whatever, do whatever, and just feel good about it.
No, absolutely. Some awesome words of advice there. And last but not least, what are you up to outside of creating Jazz? Video games, TV shows, manga that you're reading, or comics, or anything in between? I just finished My Hero Academia last month, so I'm trying to catch up on all of my backlog of stuff. But if I'm not watching anime, I'm slaving away at Baldur's Gate 3, as you found out a while ago. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm at work, at my high school. And by at work, I mean I'm just on my computer, on Twitter, and or on Kickstarter, and or whatever game I have set up. Are you ever like in class, you're like, hey kids, hit this Kickstarter link and like it, we need to boost the algorithm?
No, but last year I sold over 40 books at high school.
Not bad. Bad.
It was supposed to be like 3 kids, and then I was gonna leave it at that. But they kept talking, and all of a sudden it was like kids I had never saw before. It was like, hey, are you the guy who does a manga? I'm like, shut up, come in here, close the door. Don't let nobody else know. So it looked like I was selling drugs, but I was just selling Jazz. Like, I was like, hey, put this in your bag and don't tell nobody.
Yeah, I've been playing Super Mario RPG on the Switch. I just beat Spider-Man 2, which was fantastic, and I've been reading the crap out of Chainsaw Man. I've never seen the anime, but I think I'm up to volume 5, and I'm loving every bit of it. It is phenomenal.
I stopped after the first big arc. I don't know when I stopped reading it. It was like a while ago. Actually, the only new manga that is just like Jazz in the way of how they write is Dan Dan is the most like 2000s-esque anime or manga that is available now in like the 2024 era. So you should definitely go check that out too.
No, for sure. So guys, with that being said, it is time for us to wrap up. I appreciate everyone that came and chilled and hung out with us during the show. We've seen a lot of new faces. And remember, once we hit 900 subscribers, we're building a huge-ass Gundam kit. Very excited about that. So with that being said, I hope you all have a fantastic Monday. But most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.